We're joined live by Hemang Jani, Senior Vice President at Sharekhan Johnson, with a view on the market. Afternoon, Hemang. Thanks for joining us on Markets at Lunch. What's your sense of the market direction from here on? Do you think we're likely to see more ranged trade, at least in the near term, before we see some sort of a breakout or a breakdown?
Yeah, I think we've seen this range for almost about a week, and it's consolidating around 5,300 levels. We believe that, since we have consolidated for about 5 to 6 days, and as we are moving into the result season, we should see a break of either of the range, and our bias is that, once you see a move of about 53.50 or thereabouts, and you see some positive surprises in the earnings, the market could actually eventually move up further.
Hemang, what's the expectation from the two big IT boys, TCS as well as Infosys?
Well, we believe that as far as Infosys is concerned, there is not going to be any surprise on the dollar revenue growth front. But because of the rupee movement, you might see a little better than expected numbers on the net profit front. And since the Infosys last time around disappointed big time, people are already cautious, and which is reflected in the current valuation. So we don't think Infosys would go down substantially from here on.
What about the banking pack, Hemang? We've seen, the Bank Nifty do pretty well. We've seen some of these banking stocks perform pretty well in trade over the last couple of weeks. ICICI Bank is the name that comes on top of your mind. How does one play the banking stocks ahead of earnings season and ahead of the possibility of a rate cut from the RBI?
Well, overall momentum is pretty strong, though this time around there are expectations of a rate cut or a CRR cut, but because of the disappointment last time, some people are a little cautious on that front. And as far as results go, we believe that overall banking as a pack would deliver a growth of about 28%, and because in case of SBI, because of the lower base effect, the overall growth may look great, but if you adjust that, it would not be much significant. But overall, we believe that the momentum is very strong, and there is a case for some of the smaller banks, to go up by about 10 to 12% over the next couple of weeks.
Hemang, there are certain news reports which do indicate that perhaps Titan is looking at a US acquisition and that of Harry Winston. Do you think that's the way to go for the brand forward, acquiring big global majors?
Well, yes, because we've seen Tata Group being a little aggressive on their global aspirations, and because we believe that in terms of the domestic growth, they already have a substantial footprint and the network. Probably, if you really have to move ahead in the value chain, you will have to look for some of the global companies. So yeah, I think definitely it's a positive trigger.
How would you play the auto pack? We've seen the industry body CM now cut forecast marginally for car sales for FY13. What's your sense? How would you advise investors to play the auto basket? And within the auto basket, what would be the preferred pick? Would it be two-wheelers or four-wheelers?
Well, overall, we believe that the auto sector would remain quite good in terms of the growth expectations over the next couple of quarters. And we believe that particularly companies like Tata Motors, Mahindra, and to some extent Maruti are extremely well placed to deliver good set of numbers, particularly because we've seen the crude prices coming off from 115, 20 odd dollars to almost below 100. That is definitely sentimentally positive for some of the companies, particularly Maruti. So we believe that some of these companies are extremely well placed.
Hemang, what about the overall market movement though? Because it clearly seems like the market is driving ahead on lack of any optimism in terms of a fundamental trigger. Do you think from here onwards we're going to continue to see range-bound movement, or the market will take a directional call, be it upwards or downwards?
Well, we believe that in the current scenario, though the market has actually moved up from almost 48.50 or thereabouts to 5,300 levels, the expectations are extremely low. And since we've seen a renewed buying interest by the FIIs, we're seeing every day about 400 to 500 crore of net buying. That is definitely a positive sign. But triggers could actually come in the form of a little better than expected earnings and progress on the monsoon front. So if we have some positive uptick on any of these matters, definitely market could move up to about 54, 54.50 levels.